Game on! Yes, semi-final number 2. We're gonna find out here who goes up against Happy in the grand final. Another best of 3 series at the Ryzing Cup. And down to the bottom left, we have the Fogster himself, Foggy in the game. And up to the top right, we have Mr. X, aka Xlord. So we could have an Undead versus Undead in the grand final, or Foggy is gonna crush here and make it 2 Undead versus Night Elves in a row. Once again, I mentioned it in the previous games, but in case that you actually just tuned in or you watch this later on YouTube, Twitch, or wherever, unfortunately my scoreboard crapped out a little bit, so I kind of have to fix that, but it's not going to be happening for this tournament. So we have an overlay, but there is no scoreboard actually to tell you the score of the game itself. I'm going to make sure that we announce that throughout the series. Obviously this is game number 1, but yeah, just so you're aware of this. But well, yeah, Foggy at the bottom left, the Stone Cold Killer. And let's see what we're going to get from him. Starting off with the Demon Hunter first. We've seen quite a few of those today. Those mana burns against Undead in particular. Quite powerful. Definitely a really nice tool, especially if you are really tired of getting nuked all day long. So yeah, that's something that's going to come on from him. And on the other side, the first hero, what could it be? It is a Death Knight. Shocking, I know. You probably guessed it already, so what else are we going to get in this or any other matchup, honestly, from an Undead? Well, I guess there are a couple of Undeads that put out the occasional Dreadlord or Lich or something, but let's face it, for at least this series, it was pretty obvious what we would get here. So, either way, Xlord, of course, he's one of the players that we talked about earlier when we had the what was it? It was Terror against Neutron, actually, where we saw the Gargoyles come through. And there's a couple of players that really like that Gargoyle style, and outside of Terror and Madfrog, one of them is, for example, Xlord. He's the one who back in the day has driven more than only one Night Elf player insane by using the strategy on Twisted Meadows all day long and just running circles around the opponent, never really fighting. So it's always an option in his arsenal. He has several of those attempts in the past. I mean, against Neutron himself, for example, he played that style multiple times. Foggy is usually pretty solid against all of that, and we'll see if he can make that happen here as well. I mean, first of all, Scouting Acolyte is already about to be taken down. That's a bit of extra experience for the Demon Hunter. Walked away with claws. Oh, that's unlucky. The claws of attack plus 6 was a good item for him. So those blades are going to hurt quite a bit. And mana burn action. So yeah, so much for that. Mana burn, mana burn, mana burn all day long. Now the Demon Hunter doesn't have Boots of Speed yet, but is already doing what he does best, piss off the Undead player. Towards the top though, we still have a couple of, well, first of all, skeletons around, but with ghouls only, he could also start to creep a couple of the smaller spots here. Still seeing a few additional mana burns coming through, and Xlord can't really do a whole lot about that. So in the inventory, he might have a replenishment potion, but that is pretty much sealing the deal for now. Tree of Life, again, on the side of Foggy, so pretty much sticking to his style, and also going straight into attack into the Tree of Ages. But for Xlord, it's all about the tech for the time being, at least. Now he has with the ghouls, as I said, still the option of trying to get something grabbed here. Nice, the Wisp comes in and Xlord immediately like tries to get the skeletons out of the way. Yeah, that would have been the money detonate right there. If he gets that one off, that's lights out. That's first of all mana on Death Knight, and then a lot of experience, plus also a shutdown on the creep attempt. The Demon Hunter has his own replenishment potion by now, thanks to the creep, and has reached level 2. And with the archers that he by now has in play, it also means that he can freely creep the spot down to the bottom of the map to make sure that that expansion is going to be up and running as quickly as possible. Yeah, Foggy gets also another circle of mobility. Stats boost always nice for a hero like the Demon Hunter. We have the Death Knight with Gloves of Haste. Lich is going to be happy about that. Death Knight not so much. Well, I guess it helps a little bit, but not really as much as any ranged hero. And there we have also nearly level 3 for him now. Expansion is also about to be done, and for Foggy everything is going according to plan. He's gonna like that. Things are looking up for him. Whereas Xlord is of course not only sniffing that out, but is also gonna try and do something about it. Just as he pulls the creep straight towards the Tree of Life, but Foggy is just saying like, ooh, an opportunity to creep a little bit more. Okay, so Let's see what he can actually do with this. The mana burns are going to be strong on this one. He's already trying to do that. There's another one. No mana for him. And thanks to the clause of attack +6, he's also getting some fair amount of damage through. Now for everybody that's a little bit newer to Warcraft 3, again, if you're more so used to the Heroes of the Storm coverage here, if the Tree of Life actually gets the last hit in against any of the creeps, it means that the Nightelf player doesn't get any experience. So if you employ any kind of structure, any kind of like Trio of Ages, any kind of tree of whatever tree, doesn't matter. If you start hitting creeps with that, make sure that you don't get the killing blow through with him. Use the archers for that. So an Ancient of War, for example, that is used early on for creeping can pretty much screw that up if you're not an experienced player, and forget about that. So just a bit of a hint. Also, Naga comes in. Anaconda. Yep. Blizzard's own running gag has made it into the game and is going to try to put more pressure onto any undead unit. Obviously, if you get the boots of speed at some point for her, it's going to help that frost shot even more. There we go. Pressure on Xlord. Has a slaughterhouse in play. If that could be cancelled, that would be a bit of a nightmare for him. I mean, it's only the 2 heroes here, but he's already getting the archer into play. That would be a bad cancel to happen. And it actually happens, doesn't it? Even if he has to pull the town portal on the second hero. And he does. Gets the town portal out, but that is bad news. That's really bad news. That's the slaughterhouse delayed, and that means that the entire attack is now delayed. So everything that he tries to pull off here has to be pushed back. And if you're going up against an expansion attempt of an opponent, what you don't have is time. You need to attack as quickly as you can, because the longer the second base is in play for your opponent, the more money he has to spend. And this is exactly what we're going to be looking at here. This is also the reason why Foggy was absolutely willing to go in and to just drop the town portal and just say like, okay, I don't really care. It's just like, I have to use the TP, but that is totally worth it here for me. So, yep, well done by him. And he actually makes this... Oh my god, he makes a second attempt on it too. And he's going to pull it off as well, isn't he? Yeah, up to the top, there's creep going on. If he can creep jack that, that would also be a disaster. I mean, it's a disaster either way. There's the town portal already, as Xlord realizes pretty quickly that he is in tons of trouble. And the town portal gets used, so that's equalizing that. Didn't really get too much of it. Saves at least the slaughterhouse for now. And he gets a good aura, so that's at least something. I mean, he has the Lionhorn of Stormwind now. That's at least an armor aura. That's going to help him a little bit. Of course, Foggy is going to say thank you very much for the remaining creeps and just takes the experience there. That also helps him onto level 3 with the Demon Hunter. Gets a Forest Troll for his efforts, but the expansion down here is already working. So gets the expansion, the tech into the Tree of Eternity now. Hunter's Hall comes in, and the more time he buys, the better for him right now. Mana burn after mana burn is going to make the life of Lich and Death Knight really difficult. And he's just laying siege to all of this. When you look at the supply numbers alone, it's 35 against 46. Foggy is just playing this like a madman. It's absolutely fantastic. Gets the Fiend down, saves for a little bit longer even that Forest Troll Berserker. And if he can rip those ghouls to shreds, it would also mean that, well, Xlord will have to build them again. Saves the Archer too on HAP. There's another quick mana burn, and the Naga is going to make it out too, and thanks to all of those frost shots, there's just additional hits that keep coming. 30 supply now for Xlord, and Foggy is sitting at 46. He has a fantastic game here right now. There's no boots of speed, as I said earlier, so a surround would actually be a bit of a disaster here. Does he get that one? It looks good for him. Ah, and he just is not able to close it. Yeah, saves the Demon Hunter. Xlord says, well, I'm here already, so I might as well creep the Goblin Merchant real quickly and go for the shop. Yeah, there's a Death Knight now with level 3, Potion of Mana in the inventory, so that if need be, he can quickly use it and then drop a coil to, for example, kill one of the heroes on the other side. But, yeah, Foggy, I mean, look at the inventory alone. Has a Scroll of Healing now, Potion of Lesser Invulnerability. We're also looking at a Wand of Mana stealing, as if he didn't have enough of that already. So, yeah. And with the expansion, he's just looking at a fantastic setup. He's at 49 supply, has the Tree of Eternity, is upgrading, has Strength of the Moon on the way. Yeah, it's rough. He goes straight into the third hero now too, so we have a Priest of the Moon with the two-shot aura. Has also now the Orb of Venom, Staff of Preservation, and another scroll. So he's completely set up for any kind of attack that Xlord could throw against him now. But again, time is working in his favor as we speak, so the longer this lasts, the better for him. So right now, more creeps on the map being taken. Naga has also another item. I mean, he has money to spend, so why wouldn't he use it? Gets at this point also the Scourge Bone Chimes, can use them for later. And transition, of course, the entire army over. But this is getting pretty dangerous for Xlord. He's trying to get into Adoms. He's at 40 supply. But there's no expansion. There's none coming either. He has a double hero setup against 3. And he doesn't really have a huge... Well, he doesn't have an advantage in levels either. So he's trying to establish that slowly by creeping the top left now. And well, finds also Mount of Honor stealing for himself. But the big creep spots get now taken by his opponent. Foggy goes straight in for the Orc-Lord, drops it. Ancient Jank of Endurance, alright. Double aura for him already. I mean, hello, sir. He is really looking good with this. What's happening on the left side? What is he gonna get? Ah, he grabbed Khaldor's Pipe of Insight. That isn't bad either. For an Undead, that is pretty much the dream. The problem, of course, is all the mana stealing on the mana burning that we have from the Demon Hunter. But outside of those fights, it pretty much guarantees you that you're entering the fights with a big mana pool on both heroes. So it's worth something. But still, we'll see how much actual use he's going to get out of this. Depends a bit on how high the Demon Hunter gets. Right now, the mana burn is already going to do a whole lot of work. Khaldor's Pipe of Insight, yes or no? Yeah, double aura and just items. A little bit of a skeleton setup here into the base. Ancient of Lore is obviously now being built too, so he just starts tagging immediately into Druids of the Claw. And once that he has the Master upgrade out, the Scourge Bone Chimes are going to be absolutely crazy insane. Priestess on 2.5. Searing Arrow alone is going to do massive work later. And yep. Well, there we go. Also gets the anti-magic potion. Pretty much the only thing for Foggy that is really the most important is that when it comes to an actual fight, he's not going to lose his heroes to some nuking on the opponent. That's one of the most important ones. We have a second base already coming up, well, second expansion, third base. We have +1 attack upgrades for Xlord on the ranged units, +2 already for Foggy, so he has the upgrades, he has the items. He is looking really good on the experience front too. Might not have a level 4 first hero yet like Xlord does, but he is so close on leveling up the Demon Hunter that it's not going to matter too much. The one thing that's missing for him a little bit is a town portal. That's the same case also in Xlord. Usually most players don't even buy those back, but there's always the risk of course, getting a bit murdered there. Yeah, you can actually tell that the Lich at this point, mana burn did a little bit, but maybe not quite enough just yet. Alright, skeletons everywhere, just scouting. More and more upgrades coming in. Expansion attempt now also for Xlord, so he gets that. Top left, another Wisp is in position, so if he wants to drop another base there, he definitely can. And the mana burns are just happening. So this is like the poke around that you usually try to do or pull off when you're an Undead player. You're using your Unholy Aura to just rush in, get a quick Coil Nova off, try to just nip at the heals of your opponent slightly. And the Demon Hunter is making a very similar play, just running around and mana draining, mana burning the statues, the heroes, whenever he can get access to it. Up towards the top, Foggy already has the Owl Scout out from the Priestess, so he knows exactly what's happening here, and he can time his own attack. Has 68 supply for now, so that gives him a pretty big leg up over his opponent. 10 supply more for him, so looking quite strong there. But yeah, with the second base now also about to start mining, this is a pretty good one. Top left, the last few creep spots that are left here. I mean, we have one over here with the Goblin Lab. There's another one at the bottom right that could be taken too. Let's see what we're going to get for items for them. In terms of experience, not going to make the biggest of difference right now anymore. Very few levels up coming through from this end. But yeah, +17 attack for the Lich now. There's a +6. What did he actually grab? Okay. Claws of attack plus... oh, Jesus. That army! It's like, you kidding me? Even gets a health stone here for his level 4 Demon Hunter. Okay. Top left, another expansion has already been scouted out. Fog is just expanding all over the place. This is like, ooh, a gold mine. Let's put a tree next to it. I heard that's great. So trees everywhere. If someone wants to rebuild the rainforest, Foggy is your man. He's building trees all over the place. Yeah, WWF is huge fans. They're definitely fans. So yeah, the fight is about to pop in. And there's the Naga in the back, but there's another Roar coming through, and he's just trying to mana burn, mana burn, mana burn. Now, the one thing that I still want to point out a little bit is that obviously if you have this many bases and you actually saturate every single one of your gold mines, it also means there's a lot of supply stuck in resource supply, in economy supply, and it's not army supply, just as a bit of a side note. So army supply levels are a bit closer than it might seem, but still, the setup that we have for him is nuts. +2 attack upgrades now against +1 up at the front. Demon Hunter has to be a bit cautious, but still, there's not a lot of mana left for Xlord, so that's a problem. But Xlord is trying to pull off what he can here. Goes also into a quick potion of invulnerability to keep his Lich alive. I'm not quite sure if that's gonna happen. Lich is getting attacked, massive damage on him, but there was a coil ready from the Death Knight, so at least he keeps the second hero alive. But for how much longer? Because currently, Foggy is just playing him to the wall here. Demon Hunter is super far out though. Might have to use this potion, but nope, gets staffed out. Can heal up, has a Staff of Teleportation. He's going to be back, I can tell you that much already. And guess what? Here we go. Demon Hunter back to business and ready for another mana burn. That Death Knight doesn't have any mana left, so he's not going to coil anything this game anymore, and it seems like he's just going to be taken apart now. 59 supply still for Xlord, but he is getting pressured deeper and deeper into his own base. The Lich is about to fall. Another quick attack, and he is toast. Down he goes. Naga has to portal out, though, but Xlord is now down to 54 supply. Foggy currently at 68 and has 1,600 gold available to him. But Xlord has another base too, and has an Undead bear that's actually quite strong. So the gold mine over here is not saturated yet. Over to the right was taken down once. So Xlord is actually doing fairly well considering the circumstances. He's not out of this game just yet, but with all of the resources that Foggy has, comeback is going to be a bit crazy. Foggy, if he's suffering anything, then it's lumber. But he has now a Priestess on level 3. He still has a ton of items. The Naga is about to level 4. The Demon Hunter on 4.5. So with the mana burns just coming one after another, the undead heroes are pretty much useless, which is the main reason why you start with the Demon Hunter to begin with, of course. But yep, another mana burn comes in, and the Lich is already nearly dead even before all of this happens. Bit of an attack over there could definitely work. But, yeah, you don't want to be here. Cryptfiend comes in, looks at this quickly and says like, no, thank you. I'm out of here. I don't like what I see at all. Yep, main base, by the way, down to 2,000. You actually see hundreds of guys. We have Kims coming. Chimera Roos are in, and yeah. Oh god. Foggy at 80 supply now. Xlord on 70. There's the town portal. But he still has that still has that base. So that's something. In terms of upgrades, we have still the +2. We didn't upgrade anything more yet. On the druids, it doesn't have a single one. So again, if it comes to a big fight and the two of them have similar army supply and Xlord wins the battle, then that could easily be that. He still has a couple of items left, so it's not like he has nothing here. And there's an immediate focus onto the Demon Hunter, so he needs to be careful. Already uses the Health Stone here. The battle still rages on, but, well, there it is. A little bit of air support that immediately starts sniping those statues in the back. Death Knight is also starting to be a little bit lower. 71 supply against 86, though. And here comes the fight. Both of the statues are down. One in the back is still on the way. And another kill against the Fiend. Xlord drops quickly by 15 supply as the fight just starts. And as all of this happens, of course, we're having more and more resources being accumulated by the player in blue in the first place. And he can easily now focus his attention onto the expansion that we see to the top left. Xlord is trying to prevent it by sneaking in with those fiends from the right and just playing a little bit of a yo-yo game here. Bit of an attack down here. One meat wagon to rule them all. There's also an Ancient War, but another Forked Lightning attack takes down the next Fiend. Xlord on 57 against 88 supply now, and the Demon Hunter is getting closer and closer to level 5. Naga already on 4, and it just seems like it's going to be a matter of time. I love that meat wagon, by the way. It's a really cool move, and it actually focuses Foggy to spend some resources and attention over here. So probably a worthy investment, but it's not going to do him the favor of dropping the expansion completely. And with the Druid of the Claw being sent over there, it just means that the meat wagon has now to retreat. But it definitely forced Foggy to put a little bit of attention into defending his own base. But he has now 4 of those riding bases, and that's all that he needs here. The Gyms are just doing what they need to do, focusing the Death Knight, and that's the end of the DK and likely the end of the game. No Death Knight, no win. Xlord GG's, taps out, and Foggy takes the 1-0 lead in the attempt to make it to the grand final to face off against Happy. Game number 2, Xlord at the bottom left of Northern Isles, and well, lost game number 1. Foggy, as usual. Honestly, if you just watch his gameplay, you would really assume that Foggy is German. That precision that we have there and the efficiency is absolutely fantastic. The Germans would be proud. But, well, from sauerkrauts to Xlord, well, he might be a little bit sour after the last loss. So that Demon Hunter definitely did a number on him, draining him of mana 6 days to Sunday. And Death Knight and Lich were not really happy about this. So, yeah, with that said, we now have game number 2 in our hands. So if Foggy takes another one, spawning here towards the top right, then this would of course be the conclusion of the second semi-final and also bring us another grand final between Foggy and Happy. And in an attempt to answer the eternal question, who can beat Happy? Who can take him down? So far, quite a few players in this tournament at least failed. Cruncher was looking good against other Undeads, but he didn't really make it against Happy, and well, Terror wasn't the solution there either. So in this case, we have the Keeper of the Grove grooving around in just a few seconds, and also the forward Ancient of War again, so the 1 Archer Scout, or sorry, the 1 Archer Creep is already on its way, and shocking, the Death Knight taken once again on the side of Xlord. Yeah, Ixie, I mean, the only question at this point, well, we had 2 questions pretty much. We had the question, how can you win a best of 3 with a 5-0, and how can you win a best of 3 with a 5-0 if you already lost the map? But if anybody can pull it off, then it's Xlord, Mr. 5-0 himself. Readmore would be proud of that. But let's see what Foggy, or how Foggy is going to play this out. I mean, seriously, the guy is just an absolute monster. And against Undead in particular, he's just absolutely incredible, and we've seen that now multiple times. It's of course a bit of a different story when you're going up against Happy. Back in the day, you called Moon the 4th race. I mean, if he's the 4th, then I would say Happy is definitely the 5th. Actually, what am I talking about? Moon was the 5th, so Happy would be the 6th. Counting is hard, ladies. It's really hard at this point. Was a tough day. Was a tough day. Well, looks like that Acolyte is not going to make it either. Goodbye, my friend. Made it onto the pier, but couldn't enter the ship. So, yeah, gets taken out, but yeah. No math on stream. It's always a bad idea as a caster, I tell you that. Yeah, there's already our +6 gloves and Tree of Life. Yep. Let's get ready to rumble. There's at least a little bit of creeping from Xlord, so he wants to make sure that he is getting closer to his level 2 so that he has a bit of an aura available before... I mean, he's not going to get completely to level 2, but with the item and with the levels, if he gets some ghouls together, he can creep one of the smaller camps, get level 2 while he's still harassing with the Death Knight. So the initial experience boost here is definitely going to help him towards that goal, and you can already see that he's sending a couple of the units over here. The ghouls are going to make their way towards the camp as well, and that means aura, aura, aura. Then again, if you have a Keeper against you, it also means that you get entangled all day long, as long as he has mana, at least that is. And that's a lot of damage, especially with 2 claws of attack. I mean, are you kidding me? That Death Knight looked around the corner, saw the first bird flying straight to his face and hit him hard, and was like, screw that, I'm out of here. If I'm gonna get a few more of those attacks straight to the face, I am dead. So yeah, there's gonna be very little aggression from the Death Knight in the early game, because if you combo and entangle with that much auto attack damage now on the Keeper, then you know what's happening. There's a bit of a harass with the skeletons that he was summoning earlier up towards the top. Foggy with another Moonwell, but he's looking good. I mean, did we expect anything else? Expansion is up on the way. And just now the question, how is Xlord getting his tech through this time? Because one of the problems in the last game, if you remember, was that, well, again, there were more than one, but still, cancelling the tech of Xlord by eliminating it or forcing the cancel on the Slaughterhouse was definitely something that helped Foggy a lot. It slows down any kind of timing attack that you want to execute as an Undead player, and if that's the case, then the Nightelf can just capitalize more and more on the expansion that he's building. And of course, now Foggy wants to make a similar style here. He wants to once again get an expansion into play, make sure that he has the superior economy to his opponent, and then he needs to play just a bit of a numbers game. Enough time passes, then you are in a great spot, but that tree is already getting a little bit of a beating. And that doesn't really matter too much now. I mean, 50% HP is not fantastic, but we've seen actually in the past a few of those Tree of Lives being taken down by tenacious players like Xlord, because they always just like pull creeps over, send a couple of units in, and then find a weak spot and exploit it ruthlessly. So let's see how that works out. For now, the Death Knight is just happy to run around on the map and probably going to attempt to get also, well, a little bit of scouting going on here, a little bit more experience for himself. Yeah, that's actually true. On the left side now, the expansion, something that he can't really do anything about right now. Over here in the base, Lich comes in, tech into the Black Citadel, and the Slaughterhouse a little bit more protected with its placement compared to game number 1, where it was just way too aggressive out there. And an easy step for Foggy. Death Knight gets the Potion of Invulnerability, so that's already good for him. And the Keeper on 3 is starting to do some serious work here. There's also an Snare now on Entangle on level 2. And the second hero is in as well. The Alchemist, once again. There's the second Entangle, and thanks to the plus 15 attack damage, that is going to be a kill. Xlord doesn't even waste any mana on this thing anymore. He already realizes this is going to go down one way or another. With all the archers around and the focus fire, another Entangle would come through for sure. The only thing that you can then do is trade mana with your opponent, coil for another Entangle to be used. But that wasn't quite worth it here either. Gloves of Haste get put onto the Lich, as it should be. And Xlord on 29 supply goes up against an opponent with an expansion, sitting on 40 supply, tier 1 units only so far, who might actually try to creep here a little bit. Alrighty, so there's a bit of a scout. Uses that one evolution quite nicely to make sure that he knows exactly where Xlord is positioned, but he's still going to get that Ice Troll Warlord and the item before Xlord is there. Wand of the Wind. That's always dangerous. If you are an Undead player that relies heavily on being able to coil not only your second and third hero, but also save some units, and then all of a sudden, yeah, exactly like that. And then a Wand of the Wind comes through, then you're going to lose heroes and units, and this is exactly what happened. Case in point, Lich down, one charge of the Wand of the Wind used, and an immediate benefit out of it. Xlord again on the retreat. It's not only the fact that the Lich is down and you have to revive it, it also means that while the Lich is dead, you can't neither get experience on him, nor do you have any chance of actually harassing your opponent and take anything down there. So full on map control now for Foggy, 39 supply for him in the main base, tech into the Tree of Eternity. He's already building the first Ancient of Lore, he's getting upgrades together. If you see Foggy play and just like the absolute precision in these games, then you always question, how is this actually beatable? And then Happy plays against him. And all of a sudden it's just like, wait a second, what's going on here? So by now we have the Alchemist with Potion of Lesser Invulnerability. We also have the Keeper with the Robe or the Magi. Plus 21 attack damage right now. Yeah, he is going to murder. The auto attacks alone are just insane on that bad boy. Xlord has decided that it's a good thing to have some experience too. He wants to at least have the Death Knight on level 3, a level 2 Death Coil. It's kind of nice. So he goes to a camp at the bottom, gets a Wand of Illusion for his efforts. First of all, there's of course more creeping going on for his Nightelf opponent at the same time as this all happens. There's another Gloves of Haste, so turning the Lich slowly but steadily into a bit of a machine gun. But with level 2, it's a little bit of a, yeah, it's a small caliber machine gun. Yeah, and on the other hand, you have that Alchemist at level 2.5. Potion in his inventory, scrolls with all the, also, didn't I say a little bit about the auto attack, or talk about the auto attack damage? We are plus 26 now, so he's stacking all the damage. And gets Lightning Shield here, needs to heal that, needs to heal the Alchemist, of course. But the auto attacks on the Keeper are gonna be nuts. Honestly, just nuts. Xlord is on 38 supply, and of course tier 3 himself now. But yeah, it's a tough battle for him. He has the Orb of Corruption in the inventory, so that's definitely going to help. But we're seeing Foggy creep the entire map. There's another item, this time the Parent of Vitality, putting the Alchemist on level 2 on 1,000 hit points. Gets the level up. As we're talking about this, now the healing spray is in. And I am really not looking... from Xlord's perspective, I'm not looking forward to that next fight. It really looks like it's going to be an absolute beatdown. If he doesn't get a sniping against a hero or so, then I have no idea how he is going to win this. There's obviously a lot of tier 1 units currently in play, but we're already seeing the 3rd hero coming in. So again, it's the Priestess of the Moon and also Master Druids of the Claw. Xlord with the attack, trying to use the Crypt Fiend illusions here to make a play, but those are going to expire any second. And the Nightelf is underway too, and if he gets another good One of the Wind Entangle set up, then he might as well kill the Lich once more. Lich has the Potion of Invulnerability, so that's going to help a little bit. But yeah, the expansion, nothing you can really do about that. Lich is also not on level 3 yet. Of course, with a Nova, it's a lot about the slow too, but still the initial damage, if you can burst your opponent, then that matters, of course, quite a bit. With the first Druids now also entering the army, that means that we have Rejuvenation available. Another big tool for him. 67 supply against 50. Xlord has his Destroyers in play, and this is really just the moment to shine. And Foggy doesn't want to play yet. He doesn't want to fight this just yet. If he has to, he's going to take the battle, but obviously the more he waits, the better for him. Gets more units in. There's the Lich on 3 now. That's a good Nova against the Archers at least, and they are falling, and they're falling quickly. But that Keeper is still murdering away. Another Fiend is down. We have already for the Archers plus 2 attack upgrades, so that's solid. That Beast just barely survives with a hit point. The Lich, on the other hand, has to use the potion in order to stay alive. So that's already burned down. Looks like he might even be able to keep the Druid in play. Oh, Jesus, he staffs it out. Druid survives, takes another Crypt Fiend down. Xlord at this point is down to 43 supply against 55, and he's falling behind farther and farther here. This is disastrous now. There's still a Skull of Healing in the inventory of the Alchemist, so he can still use that if he needs to. The Lich on 3 is low. Oh my god, the clutch Death Coil. Gets a few more units eliminated. But now Lich and Death Knight are both in trouble. So is the Dark Ranger, by the way. The units are also falling on Foggy's side, but he's rebuilding them quickly. 53 supply now. There's at least the level up for the Dark Ranger, but everybody's low. If there's a bit more mana for the Keeper, he's going to secure a kill for sure. And everybody's just on the run. I mean, just look at the Death Knight here. 9 HP. He has a portal, so he can actually move out with it. But yeah, trying to buy a little bit more time to maybe get a unit killed or two. Tries to focus on the Alchemist, which easily gets staffed out. By now, 50 supply back on Xlord's side and 60 for Foggy. And with the extra base that he has obviously the advantage for himself now. Level 4, level 3 and level 1 heroes for the Nightelf player. 3-3-2 for the Undead. And Xlord has to attack again immediately. He needs to. He needs to keep the pressure up. If he doesn't keep the pressure up here, he's going to lose it eventually. We have double Orb of Venom, by the way, now. And that Venom, that poison, is doing a number on Xlord. And he's running out of... he's actually running out of hit points, especially the Death Knight. He has items now. Double mana potion, actually. Decent damage on the Lich, too. We've talked a lot about the Keeper, and the Keeper still has the bigger punch. But the Lich is looking at plus 20 as well, which isn't too shabby either. Still has the portal. And here comes the attack. Xlord is going for it again. Trying to shut down the second income of Foggy. 49 supply against 66. Whisper coming in. First coil already dropping the Archer here. Foggy trying to focus the units down slowly. We even have the first Mountain Giant in, already moving in straight from the side with a bit of body block attempts, especially against the Dark Ranger. Dark Ranger is in trouble. There should be another Death Coil in just a second, and Xlord connects it. Mame is at the bottom left, a little bit of a scout going on. Not much more than that, so not really a big deal yet. Another staff also saving the Nightelf units. And Xlord just on the move back over and over again. 2 bases against 1, and oh my god. Foggy expands at his opponent's natural, just as Xlord starts sending an Acolyte over. I mean, at this point, Raute dreist. Alright, So already we have another entangle on her, and the coil was just used. It's on cooldown. That's the end of the Dark Ranger. Dark Ranger down, Foggy on 62, Xlord on 48. Once again, the attempt to just play a little bit of hit and run. It is the Undead playbook, and he is trying to use every single page of it, but it just doesn't seem to be enough. Potion of Mana, one has already been used. Death Knight is again just running around, and as you can see, it's ring around the rosy play. Wait for the cooldowns to come back up, try and make a play there. Down here, the Acolyte is getting a little bit mad, and for good reason, saying like, wait a second, wait, what? You try to expand at my natural? Nope, not happening on my watch. But I think that the little Acolyte probably needs a little bit too much time to make any kind of play happening here. 57 supply. Tree will probably have to get cancelled, and indeed it does, but it also means it's kind of unlikely with the Nightelf army now making their way down to the bottom of the map that there's going to be an expansion anytime soon. Killing the Druid though. No staff this time. That wasn't really too bad here. He's trying to take down those destroyers. Xlord is fighting his heart out right now. I mean, he's just microing as much as he can. Level 2 Priestess of the Moon at this point is sitting right here with a level up, trying to get a bit more damage out. The archers are at least falling, but Xlord might actually have a bit of a shot there. Fog is down to 58 supply right now. And Xlord might get a kill against the third hero through. He's on 49, but he still has the heroes in play, and he is microing like a madman. He actually forces, yes, he forces the TP on the Keeper, and that's the end of the Priestess. And Xlord with the expansion attempt. Immediately, bam, Necropolis and Goldmine getting haunted, and now that he has a bit of an opportunity, he makes his way down to the bottom right and starts to creep again. Not too bad. A little bit of a snowball fight here, which the Dark Ranger is involved in. But here comes the next attack as we have Foggy making his way down to the Undead expansion. As long as he can shut this one down, he's going to win this game very likely in the long run. Magnator Reaver gets focused and dropped. Cardgas Pipe of Insight, great item for Xlord. Fantastic item. But is it enough to actually keep it in play? That's the big question. He's been microing like crazy, seriously. But can he actually still go up against the army that we're seeing from Foggy here? Foggy is still ahead in supply, and he still has the expansion. And in the main base, that's still a bit of gold. I mean, 3,500 is quite a bit. But can he actually crush anything here? He took down the Priestess a bit earlier. There's still 4-4-3 heroes, so that's not too bad. Oh, the Entangle and the Focus Fire on the Death Knight. And he goes down, Decay down. A little bit of miss micro for just a moment, and all of a sudden, everything just goes to shit for the Undead player. He loses the Death Knight, and now they're starting to move in straight against the rest of the army. No Death Coil, no win. Abom is already about to go down. I don't think he has a chance to save it. And also the destroyers are just desperately on the run. He's trying to salvage what's there to salvage, but this is going to be a tough one. Level 4 on the Alchemist as Foggy is determined to clean house. He drops the Lich, the Priestess falls. The Death Knight is back, but it's a bit too late to save the second hero. He's trying to do what he can here, but he doesn't have the mana, and that is the end of the game as Xlord taps out, and that's a 2-0 victory for Foggy as he makes it to the grand final of the tournament to face off against Happy.